It's official.
In my last video, I expressed my and many other people's discontent with the latest DLC pack, and while I stand by most of what I said, I feel like I could have expressed my issues in a little better fashion than I did. I used nothing arguments like who asked for X character, knowing full well that every character in existence has at least someone hoping they'll be inserted into the game. That video was more of an initial reaction, a first impressions sort of deal. This one, I'll try to expand on some of the arguments and talking points I made there and address a few things I otherwise forgot to. First off, I want to address the biggest non-argument and elaborate on why I feel the way I do. Conan and the T-1000 are completely wasted character slots. And no, it doesn't matter if their gameplays are unique, fun, or expansive. If they are, terrific. But in a Mortal Kombat game, if you're going to use a slot for a guest character, that's a slot a returning Mortal Kombat character isn't going to get. For example, let's assume this is the last DLC pack we're getting for a second. The fact that we got Conan the Barbarian and the T-1000 means that we got them instead of Jade or MK1's version of Sonya, two highly requested characters people have been clamoring for since the game launched. Does that help to put things into more perspective? On top of the guest slots taking away from actual MK characters that are much more deserving of being there, the fact for both this game and the previous MK11 and MKX, on top of the guest slots taking away from actual MK characters that are much more deserving of being there, the fact that for both this game and the previous MK11 and MKX, the MK fighters make up barely over half the available DLC roster is ridiculous. Guest characters have started to become a plague on this series, and MK1 is the most extreme example yet, with a whopping 50% split between proper MK characters and guest fighters. Guests are taking up literally half the roster, and it wouldn't be so bad if the choices were actually good, and for the first pack, there are some pretty solid inclusions that justify their existence. But Conan and the T-1000? I know I keep harping on this, and I think I made my point pretty clear on my problem with the T-1000 in my last video, but to quickly restate, the problem with him is that there's no justification for his inclusion. We already have a Terminator in MK11, and if there was a time to include the most iconic villain from that franchise, it would have been in that game. Instead, now he's just here filling a slot that could have gone to someone else people might actually want. Like, what if we did what we normally do and applied the guest inclusions to actual currently trending franchises to capitalize off the potential revenue? Deadpool and Wolverine is currently the highest grossing R-rated domestic film of all time. How about instead of the T-1000 and Conan, we got them added to the roster? Rather than reusing already exhausted IPs from literally one game ago, we get some new faces in there that people might actually want to see and can get genuinely excited for. Like I said, I know people hyped for the T-1000 and Conan exist, and that's great, but their excitement doesn't nullify the fact that the T-1000 came one game too late, and Conan just shouldn't be here at all. If he had to be included, then it should have been in MK11 instead of Terminator, so we could get both Terminators in this game, or vice versa. Regarding Sector and Cyrax, my issue is simply something I've been saying for a while now, that NetherRealm has been needlessly altering characters to the point that you have to wonder how much about a character you can change before they can even be considered the same character anymore. Hitting me with the "it's a new timeline" argument doesn't hold water when NetherRealm has been needlessly changing things since Mortal Kombat 9, and all Mortal Kombat 1 did was give them an excuse to stop caring about any sort of continuity or consistency between the world and the characters that exist within it, so that they can do whatever the hell they want without any of us plebeians being allowed to say a word about it, because diehards will just come to their defense touting the same tired rhetoric to justify all these horrible inclusions. Ghostface is just too late to be cool. That's all I have to say about him. M1K's was the slasher game. On top of that, the prices for all of this is outrageous. Purchasing every combat pack in Mortal Kombat 11, in addition to all the skin packs and the Aftermath expansions, runs out to $134 US. That's over double the price of the base game. In Mortal Kombat 1, if you purchased the base game for $70 US, both Combat Pack 1 and the Chaos Reigns expansion come out to a total of almost $80. That's already a little over the price of the base game, and with the assumption that there's going to be more DLCs later, possibly another set of combat packs, that will come around to a total of almost $140 if it follows the same price range as the first combat pack. So again, we have a situation of massively overpriced DLC to get comparatively less than what the base game itself offers. Think about it. Is a combat pack with not even half the size of the base game's roster worth almost half the price of the original game, and then another one on top of that, and then potentially more on top of that? Look at games like Baldur's Gate 3. They released an entire completed finished product that they could take pride in, and every subsequent major or minor patch or content release after that, whether it be bug fixes or extra things to do, have been 100% free. Larian Studios has raised the bar and proved we don't have to and shouldn't settle for these absurdly shitty business practices, especially for comparatively lazy content compared to the absolute truckload of wealth and content offered by a game like Baldur's Gate 3. Anyway, I hope this addresses and clarifies some of the points I wanted to make in the original video. I don't imagine the complaining about this game is going to stop anytime soon, but we'll see what happens. See you all in the next one.
Outstanding.